Again, an impromptu live. While I have time, I thought I better jump on here and quickly give you some sort of a lecture. And I was thinking, what would benefit you guys today? Hi Al, how is your body feeling from yesterday's Bahangara dance class? Mine's okay. I thought I'd have very sore ankles, but I'm doing okay. Yesterday we did a fun pop-up session of an Indian dance called Bahangara, and hi Lawrence. We did a dance class yesterday, Lawrence, without shoes on. It was great. No one's injured themselves so far. But what I want to talk about today is 2 ways to deal with stress, because I am finding very stressed people coming through the doors. People that don't know how to deal with their life, people that have this surprising, stressful event that has just happened, something that's come to shock their life. Hello Renee, nice to see you. I'm talking about stress. Hello Petrushka, nice to see you. And I just thought, I've written a blog about this, but I thought I'll do a live because I know some people just don't like reading. But I need to talk to you guys about something called the letdown effect and 2 ways to deal with stress, or 2 ways to deal with the aftermath of stress, because stress is the leading cause of disease. I don't care what people say, but I know that when you have stress in your body, physical, mental, or emotional stress, you don't feel right, you don't act right, and then your body starts paying for it. And then a whole bunch of stuff can happen. We can get sick, we start feeling lethargic, we can get depressed, we can binge eat, we start falling into all of these negative habits, and I don't want that for any of you. So let's get into it. You can watch this on the replay. I'll pop it up on YouTube. If you have any questions, or you want to speak about anything, or you want to share an experience, feel free to type in your questions and I'll answer them as I go. So this has happened to me quite a few times where after a very stressful period, it feels like I've been hit by a bus. Once I've dealt with that stressful period, and I thought, why am I feeling like this? Like, what's going on? So I started doing research, and then I realized the culprit is stress in the body, stress in the mind. And I know that a lot of you experience this because I hear it. And it's something called the letdown effect. What it is it's a condition following stressful events such as conflict, work deadlines, school exams, family dramas, divorce, sometimes even good events like weddings that cause a lot of stress in the build-up. Sometimes pregnancy when you're in your later stages and you're a little bit stressed at work, and then you go home and then you're like, you know, some people just give birth straight away when they go home. This is all because of something called the letdown effect. So what happens is it leads to illness or symptoms like the common cold, the flu, depression, anxiety, headaches. Sometimes you can get stomach pains. Sometimes you can get panic attacks. Sometimes binge eating. Sometimes skin outbreaks, allergic reactions, fatigue, or you're feeling tired all the time. If you are feeling any of these things and you are going through a stressful thing at the moment, whatever it is, just know that this is very real, okay? The letdown effect, and this is the time where you're going to need to nurture yourself, because your body is asking for your help, and if you don't give it, then something bad's going to happen. You know, you'll just get worse and worse. So I am here to give you a solution, because I want everyone to feel amazing and positive and energetic every single day. What is going on with my hair? So let's continue. I've got my notes right here so I don't forget anything. Another thing to note firstly is that it can frequently occur on weekends or long weekends or holidays or after retirement. You know, when you get that feeling where you can actually just rest. You know, when you've gone through a stressful period and then you have that period where you can just go home and finally it feels like, or you're on holidays, you can rest fully and completely. This is, my battery charger came out. This is usually when you start experiencing those symptoms, the ones that I just spoke about before. It's like for a prolonged period of time, your body has been going through stress and stress and stress and emotional stress, which causes physical stress, mental stress. And then the minute we throw it into relaxation, like instantly, our body has no idea what's going on because it's stress, high inflammation, and then you've all of a sudden come in and gone, let's rest, and now the body has to try to play catch up in this period and it doesn't know how. So this is why you experience those symptoms, because something is definitely going to change inside our bodies when you do drastic changes like that. So I want to help you to bridge that gap, because I've been through this before quite a few times, especially with looking after an ill family member. That's a stressful time in itself, and then once that period stops, you're like, and the next minute you feel like you've been hit by a bus, or you feel like you've got the flu or something like that. Can you relate? If you can relate to this, let me know. So let's continue. So you've all heard that stress can lead to illness, right? It's common knowledge now that stress can lead to illness, but here's a little spin. If stress can lead to illness, then you would expect that people would become sick all the time because they're under stress, right? Yet a large subset of people can, at times, find themselves becoming run down, sick, or developing physical symptoms after the stressful period is over. So feeling like these symptoms have magically just appeared out of nowhere. But I say this all the time, our human is so intelligent. All it's doing is it's helping us to survive. It's helping us to survive. You're going through your own crisis and your body's like, how do I keep my human safe? How do I keep my human healthy? What do I have to do? Do I have to cause inflammation? Okay, here you go. Do I have to cause your cortisol levels to rise? Okay, here you go. So during these periods of stress, our human body attempts to protect us by boosting our immune response. Hello, tighten up, St. Kilda. Nice to see you. So during periods of stress, our human body, it tries to protect us by boosting our immune response and accelerating the rate of inflammation in our body. So once the stress is over, we typically take a break from that intensity of stress that we've been experiencing and may want to spend more time just relaxing or sleeping. After all, isn't relaxing and sleeping part of holistic living? Well, yes, but please listen to this advice. When you de-stress too rapidly, when you come home and you de-stress after this stressful period, when you come and you relax too quickly, it can lead to biochemical changes in your body that actually result in a really, really weak immune system. So it leaves you vulnerable to illness and physical symptoms such as headaches, such as stomach disorders, panic attacks, and other pain reactions that I mentioned before. You know, one of mine was binge eating, and I was like, why am I eating so much? I'm not even exercising that much. Why am I so hungry? Why am I so tired? All I want to do is sleep. Why do I want to stay in the bed all the time? You know? And then I started thinking, wait, hold on. I've just had a stressful last 2 weeks. very stressful. That stressful period has just ended, and now I feel like I'm sick or like I've been hit by a bus. What is going on? So this is how I want you guys to be in tune with yourself that much, so that you can understand when you need to help yourself. And I'm going to give you the answers soon, like what you need to do. So when you come out of your really stressful period and you relax too quickly, it'll have some changes and affect the body, which will cause a weakened immune system. So that's what we need to be aware of. So when you do experience that is what is called the letdown effect. So did you know, interesting fact, the letdown effect can also happen with flare-ups of asthma, autoimmune diseases like lupus and Crohn's disease, digestive problems, skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis. So I've noticed, I had a client who went through a stressful period, and then she ended up getting a really bad skin condition. Like she started breaking out in rashes. Some people can get psoriasis and eczema from that stressful period, and then finally getting into that letdown effect. So during acute stress, I just want to tell you exactly how stress affects your body, because this knowledge might help you not experience the letdown effect. During stress, acute stress, right? The body releases key hormones. Hormones. They ruin our lives if we aren't in balance. So a hormone called glucocorticoids. Say that 10 times really fast. It's like cortisol. Catecholamines, which is like norepinephrine and adrenaline. So it releases these hormones during times of acute stress to prepare itself for fight or flight. Okay, that's how smart our body is. It knows that something's about to go down. I'm going to increase all of these hormones and prepare my body for fight or flight. This is my fight stance. Okay, so it does this to trigger the immune system to step up certain types of watchdogs. So basically your body is just going into protection mode. Okay, so this is what happens, and this is how stress affects the body. Behavioral neuroscientist Leah Pider, she explains that in this process, listen to this, I'll quote her, however, glucocorticoids can reactivate latent viral infections such as herpes simplex 1, which causes cold sores, and Epstein-Barr virus, which can trigger fatigue, fever, sore throat, swollen glands, for which symptoms are only obvious after a few days. So, and then another psychologist, Dawn Buse, she explains that during periods of stress, the rise in cortisol and other stress hormones can protect you against the perception of pain, which is helpful in that moment because it can help you reach safety in a dangerous situation without being hindered by pain. How amazing is our human body? All it's trying to do in your stressful period is protect you. After your stressful period has passed, the body returns to a state of normality, and many other systems that were activated, they start to calm down. This includes a drop in cortisol, as well as the other stress hormones, which could set the stage to initiate a migraine or another one of those pain symptoms that I mentioned before. Hi, Ash, just talking about stress and 2 ways that to help the aftermath of stress. I'm talking about the letdown effect in particular. Where am I? So the post-stress drop in cortisol could trigger a flare-up of other forms of chronic pain such as fibromyalgia and arthritis. So those of you that are suffering with those mystery illnesses that just pop up, ask yourself if your symptoms started after a stressful period, a week or two after a stressful period, or when you just finally started to relax. We don't want this to happen. You have to be on the prowl, okay? You have to understand when your body is going through a stressful period, and I'm pretty in tune with it. So if you're one of my clients watching this, I'll usually like tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, why don't you come and have a massage, or why don't you go and do something for yourself, because I'm pretty good at seeing the symptoms. That's why I love having experienced so much stress and pain and hurt and deception and betrayal and all of that sort of stuff, because I feel like I can handle anything that is thrown at me, and I can see it in other people when they need that helping hand. Why am I binge eating after a stressful situation? That was me. That's my thing, binge eating. When I'm like, how come I'm not getting full? I've eaten enough protein, how come I'm not getting full? We overeat after a stressful period because our body is just trying to find pleasure again. Hi, Olivia. So we're talking about stress. So when you are binge eating, it's usually your body trying to find pleasure again. It is so important to recognize this symptom, especially if you are on a weight loss journey as well, because this can set you back so far. When all you need to do is understand that it's just a symptom of something, and you just got to fix up that something, which I'm going to tell you how to do, and then you can stop the binge eating. Emotional stress and physical stress kick up the same inflammatory response, which opens the door for illness or the letdown effect. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today, the letdown effect. After either type of stress dies down, there's a downregulation of the immune system, a suppression of the immune response as a reaction to the easing of stress. So in addition, the surge and fall of stress hormones could knock down dopamine levels of the brain, which can trigger overeating and substance abuse in people unconsciously, as people try to raise their dopamine levels. Okay, so the dopamine, I spoke about this last week, is that feel-good hormone that our brain releases. So after that stressful situation, our dopamine can get affected, which can cause overeating, because our body is just looking for pleasure. So that's all you really need to wrap your head around if binge eating is one of your symptoms. Your body's just hungry because it's looking for pleasure. But what if you could give it pleasure in another way, and ease that symptom? How do we help ourselves? Our best chance is to relax in a way that keeps our immune system on alert a little bit. So think of it like when you relax too quickly, you can shock your system. Okay, and that's how you start getting all of these symptoms. You've heard of people getting cancer when they're really stressed. You've heard of people getting autoimmune diseases when they're really stressed. You've heard of people all of a sudden getting asthma, all of a sudden getting all of these weird diseases, and it's usually because there's been a prolonged period of stress. So make sure that if you're experiencing these symptoms, or if you know someone that is, this is a very real thing, and you need to protect you and your friends to make sure that nothing bad happens. And it's super easy. You just have to relax slower. So one of the best ways to avoid the letdown effect is to prevent the pressure from you by, one, being aware and pacing yourself when you're under pressure. 2, getting plenty of exercise. 20 minutes a day is good. It keeps your immune system up a little bit, the inflammatory response up a little bit, so you're not relaxing too quickly. 3, getting good quality sleep for 7 to 8 hours. So make sure it's around that period. Not too much, not too little, because that will also cause some sort of a stress in our body. If you're not sleeping well at night, figure that out. Make sure you're not eating 3 hours before bed. You need to stop that, okay? You need to stop lights affecting your eyes and your brain before bed. TV, phones, lights. Ooh, I dropped my phone. Try to have candles. Candles are great. Hello Simran, nice to see you. We're talking about stress and the letdown effect. You can watch this on the replay. I'll put it back up on YouTube. Another way you can help yourself is eating nutritious foods so that you can try to avoid any craving, and you can increase your dopamine by giving it that temporary pleasure that it's seeking. 5, taking time for yourself on a regular basis for things like quiet time, meditation, deep breathing, journaling, just a nice stretch session, yoga, any sort of relaxation technique that you do or that you take part of. That's a great way when you've come out of a stressful period to keep your inflammatory response a little bit high, a little bit on alert, so that you don't experience the letdown effect in full effect. I'm a rapper. So during a stressful period, having a plan that calls for breaks as you go through it so that you're not revved up 24/7. The body's fight or flight response can be deactivated quite effectively through diaphragmatic breathing and guided visual imagery. So meditation is key. For those of you that don't meditate, please start this practice every day. You can find time. You can find time for everything. I'm actually off to Bali soon to learn yoga and meditation so that I can teach it, because the way the world's going, we're all gonna need this very, very soon, very, very regularly. So if you have high levels of stress in your day, at home or at work, stop and take 5 to 10 deep breaths. So you just stop. You can just close your eyes. And you take 5 to 10 deep breaths. And that way you're relaxing slowly. Thanks, Tighten Up, St. Kilda. I'll pop this up later anyway. You can rewatch it. I'll see you soon. So those deep breaths, even me just doing it then, I could just feel instant relaxation. So this resting slowly, it just made so much sense to me and my body, and it might make sense to you. So stress can come in different forms: physical, mental, and emotional. So all of these, one of these or all of these, will cause the letdown effect if it's happening for a prolonged period of time. So just like we have a warm up and a warm down in exercise, you need to have like a warm down for your stressful period, okay? So just think about it like that. So there's two things you should consider that can help you. Number 1, are you ready? Physical stimulation. Number 2, mental stimulation. So here are some areas for physical stimulation to help you get out of your stressful period safely. Hi Mari, nice to see you. So some forms of a physical stimulation. 1, a quick burst of exercise, 5 to 10 minutes at a time, like a small HIIT circuit, a walk around the block, a short power walk, a jog, cycling around the block, climbing a set of stairs. It's not long, it's just a little bit, but this will help you give your body that physical stimulation so that you can start relaxing slowly, not just quickly. Some ideas of mental stimulation: challenging crossword puzzles, playing logic games, playing chess under time pressure, because that keeps your immune response a little bit, what's going on? I'm gonna win, what can I do? What's my next move? Learning something new, like a language or an instrument, that keeps you you're mentally stimulated. Doing a puzzle, a cool little puzzle. Do these activities, okay, for 3 days after your stressful period. So your stressful period is over. You now know that, okay, I've just gone through a stressful period. I'm going to have to warm down from this stressful period. For 3 days after, you must do some sort of physical stimulation and some sort of mental stimulation. Okay, that's the critical window. And you will improve your odds of emerging from the aftermath of stress feeling good and not sick. I hope that you found this content quite valuable. I know that a lot of you are going through stress, and I know that it is inevitable to have a life with stressful periods. But please keep this video locked away, and whenever you are going through a period of stress, please just watch it and understand what it is that you have to do to prevent you from getting sick or feeling any after effects, negative after effects from your stressful period. Thank you. Any questions before I go? You can also hop onto my website, wholehealth.com.au, and there is a blog on there called The Letdown Effect. 2 ways to deal with stress, so you can read it there as well. And if there's no questions, I'm going to hop off. Oh, Renee, you're very welcome. So it'll be good for you, Renee, to just have some sort of physical stimulation and mental stimulation going